Festerson. Here. Harding. Here. Jerem. Here. Melton. Here. Pauls. Palermo. Mr. President.
Here. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for our invocation today by Council Member Pete Festerson.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, we haven't met as a council since the tragedy in Florida and the school shootings, so I thought it was appropriate this morning to have a moment of silence for the families and victims and also the first responders to that incident, and perhaps also a prayer that we can all come together on some common sense solutions to address that issue that seems to be plaguing our country. So if you can give us just a minute here for the families, victims, and first responders. Thanks.
Thank you.
An affidavit of publication is on file for the pre-council and city council meeting, and a current copy of the Open Meeting Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of the legislative chambers.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this meeting of the Omaha City Council. Council thanks you for joining us today. For those in attendance, as a courtesy to those in attendance, we would ask you to turn off or mute any of your electronic devices. Madam Clerk.
Item 6, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat for West Farm Replat 4, located southwest of 144th Street and West Dodge Road, with a request for a waiver to Section 53-84A lot depth. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on agenda item number 6 is today. Proponents, please.
Hello, Terry Atkins, Lambert Harrison, 14710 West Dodge Road. Here on behalf of the applicant, just a couple quick points, and then I'd answer any questions. This was originally platted by the Village of Boys Town, de-annexed, and the City of Omaha took it over. When it was originally preliminary and final platted, we platted mega lots, for lack of a better term, with the idea that we would come along and replat these lots into smaller lots, which is what we're doing here today. The waivers were all in place before, but they were under the old lot numbers, and they were adopted by the Village of Boys Town, so the waivers we're requesting are not new waivers, they're just being reassigned to the new lots. So with that, I'd answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Second. Moved and seconded to approve item 6. No lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Yes. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 6 is approved, 6-0. Item 7, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat for Bryn Haven at Hanover Falls, Replat 3, located at 8485 North HWS, Cleveland Boulevard. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on agenda item number 7 is today. Proponents, please.
Afternoon, council members. President Jason Thielen, E&A Consulting Group, 10909 Mill Valley Road, Suite 100 in Omaha, 68154. Here on behalf of the applicant. Also with me today is Bill Fugate, who's with the Bryhaven Homeowners Association, if there happen to be any questions on that topic. This is a remnant piece of property. You can see this colored blocks there at State and HWS Cleveland that the Homeowner Association currently owns. And the entire outlot was originally supposed to be for post-construction or detention, and not all of that area needs to be used for that. So as a homeowner association, decided to put that extra property into production, and that's what this plat represents. This was a minor plat. The final plat is waiting just some subdivision agreement items, but that will be coming before you hopefully in a few weeks. And with that, I'd answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Moved and seconded to approve item 7. No lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Yes. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding. Yes. Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Yes. Pauls. Yes. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 7 is approved, 7-0. Item 8, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat for Copper Creek, located southeast of 168th Street and Military Road. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on agenda item number 8 is today. Proponents, please.
Afternoon again. Jason Thielen, E&A Consulting Group, 10909 Mill Valley Road, Suite 100 in Omaha, 68154. Here on behalf of the applicant, This is a preliminary plat for a 293-lot subdivision directly located at 168th Street and Military. As a combination of single-family lots as well as townhome lots. It is a three-phased subdivision at this location. A little bit of the tailwaters of the dam site actually comes into our site. We've got a boulevard that comes through from the south. We were at the Zoning Board of Appeals last month for some interior side yard setback waivers due to some of the changes in the master plan for the parkway, which was approved. This is a preliminary plat. Final plat will be before you probably in another 4 or 5 months. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Moved and seconded to approve item 8. No lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Yes. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding. Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 8 is approved, 7-0. Item 9, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat for Plaza 133 located north of 101st Street and Blair High Road with a request for a waiver to Section 53-84D lot frontage. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on agenda item number 9 is today. Proponents, please.
Good afternoon. Don Heine with TD2 Engineering and Surveying, 10836 Old Mill Road. Here representing the applicant. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there a motion? Second, roll call.
Palermo. Yes. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 9 is approved, 7-0. Item 10, an application to consider a Class C liquor license for Chahana LLC, doing business as Chahana, located at 2329 North 90th Street.
Public hearing on agenda item number 10 is today. Proponents, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Rafshan. Property located in 2329 North 90th Street. Chahana LLC is going to be Mediterranean restaurant. Any question?
And you're here to answer the questions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Mr. Festerson.
Thanks, Mr. President. Just a quick question for you.
If you could stay
if you don't
there
mind.
just for a second.
So this is in my district, and I welcome you with your new business here. Can you remind me or tell us again what kind of restaurant will it be?
It's going to be Mediterranean restaurant and Russian cuisine too as well.
Okay. Vegetarian and Russian, you said?
Yes. Yeah.
Very nice. I don't think we have any of those around here, so I look forward to trying it.
It's going to be first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Moved and seconded to approve item 10. No lights. No further lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Yes. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 10 is approved, 7-0. Item 11, an application to consider a Class C liquor license for Ennemeyer LLC, doing business as Nosh Restaurant and Wine Lounge, located at 1006 Dodge Street.
Public hearing on agenda item number 11 is today. Proponents, please.
Hi, I'm Eric Niemeyer. I'm the owner of Nosh. I just took it over from Lila, the previous owner, and we're just going to keep the same location and keep doing the same thing that she was doing.
Okay. Are there, and you're here to answer any
I'm
questions?
here to answer any questions.
Okay. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Moved and seconded to approve item 11. No lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Yes. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding. Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 11 is approved, 7-0. Items 12 to 15 can be considered together. Class C and E liquor license applications for MV2 LLC, doing business as Annie's Irish Pub, located at 1101 Davenport Street, Suite 110. And Class C and E liquor license applications for MV2 LLC, doing business as Beer Can Alley, The Exchange, located at 1101 Davenport Street, Suites 200 and 240.
Public hearing, this is 12 to 15.
Yes.
Public hearing on agenda items numbers 12 to 15 of the day. Proponents, please.
Tom Baldwin, representing Midwest Ventures 2.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Moved and seconded to approve items 12 through 15. There are no lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Mr. President.
Yes.
Items 12 through 15 are approved 7-0.
Thank you.
Item 16, an application to consider a Class C liquor license for Restaurants, Inc., doing business as The Smoking Goat, located at 15805 West Maple Road.
Public hearing agenda item number 16 is today. Proponents, please.
Yeah, John Wade, 16918 K Street, manager of the Smoking Goat.
Thank you. And answer questions if we have any.
Please, yes.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Ms. Melton.
Very interesting name that you have. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your restaurant?
Sure, and I'll bring up my chef. He can tell you a little bit about the menu. It's a chef-driven American cuisine restaurant. Focuses on higher-end wine and craft cocktails and craft beers. Our chef, Chef Andrew Lockery.
Hello, how are we?
Okay, I guess.
I'm sorry, Andrew Lockery.
But he can tell you a little bit about the menu.
So it's just about different things from my experience of traveling around the world, different countries, and just kind of brought them all together underneath Restaurants Inc. So.
All right. What state? Just for the record, state your name and address.
Andrew Lockery, 5632 Grant Street.
Okay.
68104.
So you've traveled the world and you're bringing back various recipes and serving
Europe,
them here.
Asia, London, Australia.
Wow. So how did we come up with Smoking Goat as the name? We're just curious.
So
that'll be on the owner.
The owner, Gail Karstens, he also is owner of the Neon Goose LLC, and originally acquired that from the original owner of the Neon Goose, and is a big fan of the Neon Goose, and we also have the Twisted Fork downtown, and I don't know, somehow in the conversation that came up, and like the Neon Goose, and somehow Smoking Goat got brought up as an idea, and
I like it.
Not that we're smoking goat there, but
okay.
We never know. We might give it a shot.
That you'd be quite a chef if you could.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Welcome to the district, and I hope it all goes well. I look forward to coming.
Thank you.
All right. And with that, I approve.
Moved and seconded to approve item 16. No lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding. Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 16 is approved 7-0. Item 17, an application to consider a Class D liquor license for Grung Brothers LLC, doing business as Grung Brothers Retails, located at 822 North 40th Street, East Communication in opposition.
This is 17. Okay. Public hearing on agenda item number 17 is today. Proponents, please.
Jordan Holst of Ellick Jones Law Firm, 9290 West Dodge Road, Suite 303, Omaha, Nebraska 68114. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Garun Brothers LLC. I have Kumar Garun with me today. He's the president of the LLC. We initially asked for a Class D liquor license for the 822 North 40th Street location, but we're going to be amending that to be a Class B beer-only sale with restrictions on it. So no single sales of beer 32 ounces or less, and the sale of 6 packs or greater only, which we will be doing. Other than that, if you guys have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Yes, sir.
Murray Hayes, 4104 Lafayette Avenue. I'm the president of Walnut Hill Neighborhood Association, and we've been here many times before you talking about the availability of alcohol surrounding our neighborhood, 40th and Cumming, 40th and Hamilton. We were just here last year when the owners of the gas station and convenience store at 40th and Hamilton were trying to get their license to sell liquor. You know, many of you have a history. We go back many years as far as even go into the state to fight the availability. In our neighborhood, now granted they're on the south side of Cumming, right at the corner. We still have alcohol available at the Cumming Food Mart at 40th and Cumming, and then we have at Saddle Creek and Hamilton. So we're basically already surrounded on 2 corners by the availability of alcohol. So in our neighborhood in Walnut Hill, we can see when there's an influx of alcohol, we see more foot traffic, we see more, I'm going to call them drunk people traffic, if you will, trash. The Coming Food Mart is still selling the beer, so we're kind of anti any more establishments coming into the neighborhood because we've worked very hard. We've seen property values go up dramatically. We've seen a lot of houses get reinvented in this neighborhood. So we don't understand why we need another outlet for alcohol, and we're especially against it because we've fought so hard over the last 10 years to not let any more alcohol encroach in our neighborhood. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them just from our history standpoint.
Okay, I was just going to ask you if you'd stay real close because there may be some questions for you. Are there any other opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Mr. Jerem.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. I would thank Mr. Hayes for coming down here today to share Walnut Hill's perspective. And prior to today, I did receive contact from the leadership of the Jocelyn Castle Neighborhood Association, in whose neighborhood boundaries this application actually lies. And their concern was if there was full Class D license for liquor and beer and singles, that it would be a concern for them. And what they like about this location is that it's welcoming a business in that serves a minority population. It brings diversity to their neighborhood. And they thought if it could be done in a way that is compatible with the neighborhood and not creating a burden, that they would actually support it. And so what we've done is we reached back to the applicant, and this business owner has agreed to amend the license to beer only, no singles under 32 ounces or less, which, given the size of the store being as small as it is, it won't become the neighborhood refrigerator by single sales. It'll be more of a grocery store, traditional six-packs and greater. So with that, they're actually okay with this license, and I am too, and glad to support it. So I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
We need
to allow the amendment.
Yeah.
To allow the amendment. Second. Did you have, your light was on. Did you turn it off?
I just had a question. I noticed that sometimes now, with the restriction of nothing less than, I think it said a six-pack, is that correct? Mm-hmm. That a lot of these now come in 4-packs and things like that. Is that, I mean, I know that's kind of getting in the weeds a little bit on it, but.
In distilled spirits, there are 4-packs.
No.
Beer, I'm not familiar with those. I guess I don't drink enough beer to know.
I've read about it.
Well, if it's original container, original packaging, I think the applicant's concession has been they would voluntarily restrict themselves not less than 6-pack or 32 ounce. That's what I thought I heard them say, and that was so that was part of the motion to allow amendment, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve the amendment. There are no further lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Yes. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes. Second. Roll call.
That motion passed 7-0. Palermo.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Harding.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 17 is approved as amended, 7-0. Item 18, an application to consider a Class D liquor license for Gurung Brothers LLC, doing business as Gurung Brothers Supermarket, located at 9010 Fort Street.
Public hearing agenda item number 18 is today. Proponents, please.
Jordan Holst of Alec Jones Law Firm, 9290 West Dodge Road, Suite 303, Omaha, Nebraska 68114. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Gurung Brothers LLC. With me today is Kumar Gurung. He's the president of Gurung Brothers LLC, and this is a Class D liquor license application for the location at 9010 Fort Street. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve item 18. No lights. Roll call.
Palermo.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Harding.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 18 is approved, 7-0. Item 19, an application to consider a special designated liquor license for OMF LLC, doing business as Old Mattress Factory Bar and Grill, located at 501 North 13th Street, for an outdoor beer garden on March 17th, 23rd, and 24th from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. each day, with music ending at midnight.
Public hearing on agenda item number 19 is today. Proponents, please.
Good afternoon. Mark Annenbach, 1601 Dodge Street, on behalf of the applicant. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Moved and seconded to approve item 19. There are no lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Yes. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 19 is approved, 7-0. And then if I could request council to table items 20 to 23 to the March 13th meeting for publication and notification purposes.
Moved and seconded to lay over items 20 through 23 till March 13th for publication purposes. There are no lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Yes. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0. Consent agenda. Any member of the City Council may cause any item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be taken up by the City Council immediately following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed, unless otherwise provided by the City Council Rules of Order.
The public hearings on agenda item number 24 was held on February 13th, 2018. Moved and seconded to approve item 24. There are no further lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Yes. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 24 is approved, 7-0.
47. The public hearings on agenda items numbers 25 through 55 are today. If you wish to address the City Council regarding these items, please come to the microphone, indicate the agenda item number you wish to address, identify yourself by your name, address, who you represent, and if you are a proponent or an opponent. And I think there's a couple. Captain Kyle, I think there's one you wanted to talk on, or
on item 51.
Item 51?
Go ahead and go up there.
Sure. And I know there's 47 we want to take off consent, right? Take 47 off consent. And Rich wanted to talk about 25. Okay, can we do the captain first, and then we'll, okay. Captain?
My name is Adam Kyle. I'm a captain with the Omaha Police Department, 505 South 15th Street. We are currently in the process of purchasing 40 new cruisers, and I actually had vehicle maintenance. Take a picture. Oh, you can see it up there. That's, I can't see it up there though. Is that clear? Okay, good. So that's actually a vehicle that's in use, in service today. It's a Ford utility. It's a 2016. You know, things have changed since the 1950s, and we've always upgraded our equipment. And one of those pieces of equipment is our cruisers. We've gone from the old Crown Victoria, which seems to be the workhorse of the United States, and Ford quit making those. And the reason that all the cops liked them is because they had a lot of room, they had a lot of power, and they didn't cost much to keep them up. Ford decided to get rid of the Crown Vic. We don't know why today. And when that happened, the majority of the police departments that had Crown Vics were picking Dodges and Chevys and you name it. In the last 5 years, the nation has changed, and a lot of them, you know, cops talk to each other, and they are their own testing grounds. You know, does that work for you? What are your problems? Not only are we having problems, what are your problems? It looks like most of the nation in the last couple of years, I haven't checked recently, but 51 to 52% of the police departments in the nation are going to this particular vehicle here for a number of reasons. One, officers like the room in it. Two, it seems to be maintainable. In other words, the costs are low. The efficiency of gas is no worse than the smaller sedan, the Chevy Caprice that we had. This one is pursuit rated, so we can pursue vehicles in it. One of the main reasons that we went to it is, you know, we had Chevy Caprices. We still have some. Officers had a concern about getting in and out of the car. It was kind of crammed. The reason we went to a Chevy Caprice was because the Crown Vics obviously were quit. They were stopped making them, and so now the Chevy Caprices, they're stopped making those, and so we had to pick a car, and we started slowly. We tested initially. We tested 4 to 6. Last year we tested 2 in each precinct as a frontline vehicle because we wanted to get a real good litmus test about these vehicles. Would they hold up? You know, with cops driving them 24/7, braking hard on them, and things like that. And the report was positive. The only negative thing that was actually nationally known about these particular vehicles was that there was a CO2 leak, I think, in one of in some of the utility vehicles. One particularly I remember on the news was in Texas. It was alleged that a police officer was driving one of these and fell asleep because of the CO2 inside, and it crashed his vehicle. I don't know how true that is. I don't know the details of it. But we tested our vehicles and had negative results. Vehicle maintenance purchased these CO2 detectors. We had negative results. Again, the concern was the CO2 leaking into the cabin, not because it was manufactured that way, but because of the upfitting, which is what we do when we get a utility vehicle or any car. We turn it into a cruiser. There's lots of equipment added, and there's holes drilled into the cabin compartments, and those holes have to be sealed properly. The company that does most of our equipment almost every year that I've been a captain anyway, in the last 10 years, is Jones Automotive, and they drill 3 holes in the vehicle, front, firewall, and then one in the back. But they double seal, so they seal silicone on the interior where the hole was drilled, and then they seal on the exterior where the cable's leaving or coming through the outside of the vehicle. And so we've had no problems with these cars per se. We like them. The cops like them. But again, you know, as things move on, I'm sure we'll progress to something else or some changes to this vehicle and its equipment. So what are your questions?
I don't think we have any. I think we want to do, well, I think there may be one. Mr. Pauls, did you want to ask on something based on this?
25.
On 25. Yeah, I think we just wanted you to have an opportunity to do the presentation. So thank you, Captain. Appreciate it. I don't think there are any questions.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Mr. Pauls, I think you want to speak on 25. Go ahead.
Yes, I am looking for a little bit more clarification on agenda item 25. That happens to be the rolling metals, which is in my district, and it was as I'm reading here, it was a SID until July 2015, when we incorporated it as part of the city. And it is a little unique because their water system the water was supplied by wells, which were developed by the SID. And now we're going to be turning them over to MUD, and there seems to be some confusion on that. So I'm going to ask somebody from finance, I think it's Mr. Douglas or Mr. Curtis, and somebody from Public Works to sort of give us some information about this, so it'll maybe make it a little bit more clear to the 70, 80 people who live out in that area. Mr. Curtis?
Steve Curtis, Finance.
Could you give a little bit more of a background on how this has all come about, other than being an annexed?
I guess to try to get a little more specific, they had wells, as we all know, as well as septic systems. I know Jim Tyler's out there to speak to some of the Public Works parts. At the time we did the annexation, they were told that we would take over the well system. I don't know that any agreement was ever made that we would continue using wells forever. I think it was our intention to, when the time was correct, to move them over to MUD and onto water. One thing that may not be known is that we are continuing to pay, and have done this on the residents' behalf, the well expenses, which are about $850 a month, so roughly $10,000 a year. Plus this past year, I think we did a $10,000, $11,000 repair, so our expenses were about $21,000, which they haven't borne, which they would have in the past. The other item of note is that the city is going to expend the funds to get them hooked up to MUD, which would normally be a residence expense to the tune of $10,000 or $20,000 per residence. And then they would just have their expense for water continuing after that, which I don't know if that'd be terrifically different than what their cost was to maintain the wells as a group.
Okay, thank you. Jim, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, Jim Tyler, City of Omaha Public Works Department. Like was said, we annexed this in 2015, and the City of Omaha does not own or operate water systems. That's not something we do. We operate a sanitary system. Again, these people will not connect to our sanitary system. They are on private septic systems, and they're going to remain on private septic systems. We are transferring the ownership of the water system to MUD, and as that happens, MUD will connect their distribution system into the MUD system. Actually, a letter went out to residents recently, and I spoke to someone from MUD. They're scheduling meetings for the residents this coming April to help inform the residents of how that will all occur. Let's see if there's anything else. The eventual connection to the MUD system, what they don't have out there right now is fire protection. They have a system that does not have adequate pressure to provide fire protection. That will happen when they connect to the MUD system. And again, as was said, all the costs to connect to the system will be borne by the city.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the information that both of you have given to us, and hopefully this will help some of the people who live in those areas. I think there's 70 to 80 houses that this actually is something that should improve their way of life. Thank you both for giving that information. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. And we took item 47 off of consent.
Took it off. I know mine and Councilman Harding's request.
Yes.
Just because I just wanted Mr. Bench. I think we just wanted Mr. Bench to talk a little bit about, and Mr. Baxton. I'm not sure whichever one has the information, just to highlight the economic impact that this has on Omaha.
All right, Keith Baxton, Director at Visit Omaha. Just looking at the background with Triple Crown, they were founded in 1987, and they produce both softball and baseball tournaments across the country. They've been doing the Slump Busters tournament here in Omaha going back to 1993. Slump Busters is actually one of the largest youth baseball tournaments in the country, and we're very fortunate to have it here every year. They always tell us that they would even grow bigger if they had more baseball fields. So I'll let Brooke talk about those here in a minute, but a couple more facts on this group. In 2017, they had over 500 teams here. Those teams all have about 20 baseball players on them. They used over 16,000 hotel rooms in 53 different properties in the metro area. The total attendance outside of locals, and of the 500 teams last year, 450 of them were from outside of Omaha, outside of a 100-mile radius of Omaha, and represented attendees from 37 different states. But those attendees were a little over almost 18,000 folks. And the economic impact of this, depending on the number of teams each year, ranges anywhere from $16 million to $18 million. And another interesting fact about that is, you look at, we always say College World Series is what sells out the city. It actually takes two events to make one awesome event. And we have definitely the attendees that come for College World Series, but also the reason that Slump Busters, when you ask their planners with Triple Crown, they'll say what makes their tournament so good here in Omaha? It's because they package it with College World Series. So every single one of these youth teams, and it's 20 persons on each of those teams, they buy 20 tickets to attend one of the sessions for College World Series. So when I talked to College World Series today, they confirmed that Triple Crown is the single largest ticket purchaser of general admission tickets to College World Series. So again, I think both organizations say they couldn't do what they do without each other being part of it. Brooke, do you want to add on the teams?
Brooke Bench, Parks and Recreation. Just to add what Keith said, Triple Crown uses 35 City of Omaha fields, and then also an additional about 30 other fields that are in Council Bluffs, Fremont, and the surrounding area. So they use over 70 local fields. They use about 120 umpires, so they utilize all the umpires around this whole area, and with a total of over 1,400 games that are being played in Omaha during the College World Series, which are pretty spectacular numbers. So they've been a great partner for years. And hopefully we'll have this great event. If anybody has ever not been to see some of the other, I think there was teams from over 38 states, and great baseball. Really fun to watch, fun to see all the different cities, see how they all travel. Just a great event that comes to Omaha every year, and we look forward to it again this summer.
Okay.
I think I turned my light on when I was coming back, sorry. So,
Oh, okay. So you're-
Amy covered me. Thank you.
Amy covered it
Yeah,
for
she
you.
got
Okay.
it.
All right.
Motion to approve 1 through 24, 26 through 46, 48 through 55, because they took 2 out.
We didn't pull them all. The only one we pulled off was 47, so we have to take that one separately. Yeah,
Unless-
because we did pull that off the consent. So the rest of them we can leave on consent.
Unless you want to withdraw it and then just consider
And then we
them
just do them all together?
Mhm.
Okay. If we can withdraw, we can do them all together. You withdraw?
Withdraw the motion. Okay.
Then it's just a move to approve. Moved and seconded to approve all of our resolution
25
consent
to
agenda
55,
25 to 55. No further lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Festerson. Harding. Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Mr. President.
Yes.
Items 25 to 55 are approved, 7-0. Item 56, a resolution to approve the Scott Tent and Awning Company Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Plan located at 1501 Howard Street in an amount up to $572,659.
Public hearing agenda item number 56 is today. Proponents, please.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Don Keaton, Omaha City Planning. Let's start by getting oriented here. The Scott Tent and Awning Company Fifth Redevelopment Project Plan, located at 15th and Howard, and this corner here, southwest corner of the intersection. Looks like this presently today. It's a 3-story brick historic building. It's been vacant for an extended period. The proposal would rehab the building for, it'd have first floor commercial and 16 apartment units in the upper level. And those would be market rate apartments. Also, there's going to be 16 parking stalls in the basement. The owner of it is John, and pardon me with the pronunciation, please, Perobalakis. He's the manager of the Howard Street Landmark LLC. Dicon Corp will be the general contractor. Total project cost is about $6.5 million. TIF project support requested $572,659. Project meets the TIF program criteria, consistent with the master plan for the city, and it comes to you with our request for your approval.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there a motion? Second, no further lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Festerson. Harding. Jerem. Melton. Pauls. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 56 is approved, 7-0. Item 57, an ordinance approving an agreement with Rick Bond of Cass County, Nebraska for the land application of stabilized sewage sludge for an agreement period ending December 31st, 2018 with up to 4 automatic 1-year renewals.
Public hearing agenda item number 57 is today. Proponents, please. Seeing none, are there any opponents? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Next item.
Item 58, an ordinance approving a redevelopment tax increment financing loan agreement with the DPB Partnership LLC to implement the Dundee Professional Building Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Plan located at 119 North 51st Street in an amount up to $275,000.
Public hearing on agenda item number 58 is today. Proponents, please. Seeing none, are there any opponents? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Next item.
Item 59, a request from Sparkling Clean Service, Inc. to appeal the rejection of their bid from February 7th, 2018 for the janitorial supplies for fire department project.
Public hearing on agenda item number 59 is today. Proponents, please. Seeing none, are there any opponents? Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
Motion to deny the appeal.
Second? Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded to deny the appeal. There are no further lights. Roll call.
Palermo. Yes. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding. Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
The motion adjourned?
Non-action items. Yep. Items 60 through 69 do not require public hearing or city council consideration at this meeting, but will be placed on a future agenda for public hearing and or vote. The reason for non-action is noted after the item on the agenda, as well as the date the item is expected to appear on the agenda for consideration.
Is there a motion adjourned? Or y'all want to stick around? It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Roll call.
Palermo. Festerson.
Yes.
Harding. Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Mr. President.
I think so.
Motion passed 7-0. Meeting adjourned at 2:41.